Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cycle, and this is Let's Play Train Simulator. We have the weekend of skiing scenario ahead here, and we are moving back to December of 2013. December 3rd, I believe I said, of 2013 in a previous video. And we have a weekend of skiing ahead. This is a dark scenario, so be warned, it is saying it's clear weather, but it gets dark early in Germany in the winter, and needless to say, we're going to be looking at dark weather as or dark conditions. As a result, you're going to find stations that we do not stop at are going to be marked on the HUD because it's just going to give us a sense of where we are as we drive along. It's kind of hard to see in the dark. So we're going to have an indication on the HUD of other stations. Keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, let's get started on our journey. We're going to make our way to our first location, which it turns out is Starnberg. We're going to be starting at Starnberg today. And our first stop will be Tutzing on our way to Garmisch Partenkirchen. Let's get going. What are boats doing out there in December? Seriously. Like, the water should be frozen over by now. There's our train. Today you are charged with a service to Garmisch Partenkirchen. We knew that. Weather conditions are looking pretty rough with fog thickening, so take care. We're going to let people on board. Going to turn the headlights on. I'm going to go ahead and hide the HUD for a moment so you can see the PZV being turned on. That was not it. That was it. So you can see the PZV is on. Let's take a look at our train before we leave. Departing Tutzing, or departing Starnberg, as I forget to put the reverser on again. Departing Starnberg, we're going to be heading to our first stop at Tutzing. And I'm going to go ahead and rush the 60 speed limit because I kind of lost a few seconds already. So I'm rushing that 60 speed limit. We're going to cut it back quickly. There we go. So we're already at our 60 km per hour speed limit as we leave for Tutzing. I need to make sure we hang around there because we're coming to a little bit of an uphill gradient, 1 in 100 already. We're passing an 8, which means we're going to move to an 80 km per hour speed limit. There's the restriction in effect. And up to 120. I should be rushing up to 120. I didn't mean to take my time there. Now you can see a green station marker coming up on the map ahead. We don't actually have to stop at that station. That is Pulsenhofen Station. And that is not one of our stops today. The first stop we have is Tutzing at 4:22 in the afternoon, or more like evening at this point. I wonder if they call 4:30 evening in Germany. Someone let me know if that is the case. During this time of year, at least. So we're going to get our speed back up because we have been losing speed. I want to get closer to 120 for this stretch because we are under a tight timetable, as is wont to be the case with these scenarios. This is also the longest scenario in this set of scenarios, which is of note here. I hit 120, so I went ahead and got the speed back. We are passing through Pulsenhofen now. Normally I would have blown my horn to let them know we were coming, but I had to adjust my speed limit, so... We're going to be coming up on Feldefing. We have a 110 kilometer restriction before that platform. We are going to be getting down to that. I'm going to take advantage of the speed while I can, however. Because we can get down to 110 very quickly. I'm going to go ahead and start getting down to 110 now. We are down in time as we come to Feldefing platform. So leaving Feldefing, we are moving to Tutzing as our next station. There are no other stations before Tutzing. Now, Tutzing is one of those stations that sometimes will have signal-imposed speed limits, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the signals as we come up. There are no speed limits marked on the HUD, so until we see otherwise, we can assume that we are going 110 kilometers per hour into Tutzing. We will see if that is any different. Now, needless to say, we're going to be slowing down for the station anyway, but the signal, I believe, is far enough before the station to cause a nuisance. So, if that signal has any kind of lower speed limit on it, that's going to annoy us for our timetable. Now we know there are distance signals before these signals as we come up to stations sometimes, so we're going to see if there is such a signal coming up here that will tell us anything. I've gone ahead and allowed the throttle just to be safe. I'm going to slow down a little bit now just because I do want to make sure I don't come in too fast in the wintry conditions. We have a flashing signal. It is telling us there is a 6 on it. So that means I have to acknowledge a PZB alert, and I have to go ahead and drop my speed down immediately, which I'm doing now. We're trying to ease the speed down gradually so we don't have any problems getting into the signal block where the 60 is in effect. I'm coming down just a little early at this point. We're going to pass that signal going 60. Oh, that was the warning signal. Sorry, that was the second warning, also warning of the 60. So this signal coming up is where the 60 goes into effect. We got 2 warnings for this 60, so that's a little unusual. The flashing means keep an eye on the signal speed coming up. So we're not allowed at this point to exceed 60 miles per hour, even though this is normally a 110 railway. We're not allowed to exceed. So I think we're being routed off to a platform a little off the railway here, which might be part of the reason for that. Platform 2 is clearly, yeah, we're going along a junction, so that's what was going on. We were being junctioned over. You can see the speed limit has now gone back up to 110. Good job, signals. Good job. Just perfect. Arrival at Tutzing, platform 2. Leaving Tutzing, our speed departing is 110 kilometers per hour, maximum speed. And our next stop is Weilheim, Oberbay. We are 13 3/4 kilometers from Weilheim, Oberbay. And let's take a moment to look at our itinerary for the rest of the journey. We're going to arrive there at 16:32. It is 16:23 right now. We're going to continue to Huglfing at 16:39. And then we have a number of additional stops, the final stop being at Garmisch Partenkirchen at 17:15. So we have literally a little less than an hour of driving to do here. And we're going to try to do this very, very carefully because it is dark. I've been having a bit of a difficult time starting this scenario because the speed restriction right there in the first station, I actually had a problem with that because I was not ready for that to take effect as it did. So I actually decided to redo that section. And now I'm actually redoing this section because I'm not happy with how this section is going either. You're going to see why in a moment for this section. But for right now, all you need to know for the time being is that we are going to be past the Unverzesmering Junction, and that's the line to Koschel am See, exiting to the left. Koschel am See. I'm going to get ourselves back up to 110 because we've dropped a little lower than I would have liked. So, as I'm recording this, I have not been by Weilheim Oberbay yet in, I don't know, about 3 or 4 attempts here. And I have not been happy with the quality of this recording so far. So sometimes when I have a recording going this badly, that means that things are going to go badly at other stations as well, and there's more of a chance I'm going to be Frankensteining the recording together at the end. So I will make sure it looks like one good run for you guys when you actually see it. So we should be passing on around now the location of Diamondorf, closed in 1984. Little lag on the crossing there, unfortunately. We're going to go to a downhill gradient, so I'm going to ease off the throttle to make sure we don't gain too much speed. And I'm going to probably, I'm going to have to go into a brake application temporarily. It's only a 1 in 121, so it's not too bad. I can probably keep the throttle idle and I should be fine. In fact, I'm losing speed even with a small throttle. You saw, it looks like a car parked over there. I saw his taillights on. So, some kind of vehicle over there. So I'm just going to hope that this section goes cleanly right now and that we don't have any further problems in future sections. I kind of want to get to the store and pick up some grocery items before we, after I finish this scenario, but I might not be able to get to this end of the scenario the way things are going before I do that, so I may be doing this in 2 parts. I see a potential speed restriction coming up. I see a 60 at the end of Wilshoven, where Wilshoven platform would have been. I am seeing that 60 km/h speed restriction there. I'm a little concerned now. We could be seeing one before that. Sometimes these signal, I see a green over yellow. We are going to be seeing a 60. We have enough time to slow down, so I'm going to be going ahead and staying where we are for the time being. That distance signal is warning that we're going to be going 60. So now that we pass the distance signal, I will start to slow down. Now I think at this rate we should be down in time. If I need to, I'll do a slight additional brake application. But I think at this point we will be down in time. There's another warning for the 60. This is not the signal we need to be down for, but we are down anyway, so we are going to just proceed along casually at this point, going at our 60 mile per hour speed limit. Not in effect yet, but will be in effect in 0.2 of a kilometer. I'm toying with 60 until we get to that point, then I'm going to drop a little below. And now I'm going to go ahead and drop just slightly. So I'm not sure why we ended up having to go down to 60 at this particular stretch of track. We ended up having to go down very, very early for the platform here, and we're taking a track that has a 60 coming out. So I'm a little puzzled as to what the reason for that is. Maybe the signals just drop you down if you're being routed onto that track, because you have to go to a 60 as you leave that track. Notice our 60, by the way, just disappeared. So the speed limit just disappeared on that track, on that signal ahead. So but we know we're going to be going 60 at that signal, so we're just going to maintain the 60 at that signal. Because you see the green over yellow in the distance, you see the red on the track to the left. That means we are likely being routed to the right, because I did not see a yellow saying we're going to stop. So we are going to be routing to the right. And we actually are on the right. We already are being routed to the right. What am I talking about? So there's our continued 60 restriction. I had to catch a little bit of a dip there as we went into a downhill gradient. But we should be up to 110 again now. We can now get back up to speed. For some reason, it looks lighter now than it did earlier. I don't know why that is. It looks a little lighter now than it did back at the other part of the country. 49.6 is the kilometer marker of the part of the railway we just passed. We're already back up to 110. That took no time. So we're going to make sure we maintain our speed around 108. We're now past the 50 kilometer marker. The line from Geltendorf is going to be joining from the right. It might be pronounced Geltendorf. Geltendorf or Geltendorf. One of those for sure is wrong. And possibly both of them. Let me know if I am wrong. So there's a 100 km per hour speed board ahead, but I see a distance signal saying we're going to be going 60. So we got to get down in time for that signal. I'm going down a little too quickly at this point. I've reached the 85, so... And I didn't hear a beep, so once again, I'm not hearing any beep on these signals. I have a feeling there is supposed to be a beep whenever we pass one of those. Again, if I am mistaken, let me know. But the route is clearly not giving me... Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. So... Are some of them higher priority? I honestly don't know. And if anyone wants to fill me in on that, please do. So once again, we're down to 60 in time. We have a distance signal saying we're going to continue going 60 at the next signal. So this 100 km per hour speed board, well, ignore it. And our arrival time is leaving me a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth right now because we have to be there in 40 seconds. We're not even in the platform yet. We're going to have to screech to a halt as we enter. So this is not the best platform situation. I'm going to assume that the timings would be relaxed here because of the two signals impacting our performance. So, but I'm going to go ahead and just try to come screech to a halt anyway and hope that that's not the case. And hope that we do have that relaxation, rather. Sorry. I need to slow down a little more quickly, so I'm going to do that. I believe we have until the end of the minute. We should probably be fine. So I'm a little early. Sorry, guys. I have to open the doors. Arrival at Weilheim, Oberbay. leaving Weilheim Oberbay. Our next stop is Huglfing. We'll be stopping at platform 1 at Huglfing. You notice we're on a 100 km/h speed limit. We're going 60 at the signal. You see that green over yellow ahead? That tells you you're going 60. So this is the junction speed limit. We're going to get ourselves back on the main track. And then we'll be able to go ahead and we'll increase our speed. The sign disappeared, but it is not in effect yet. So if you're driving by the HUD, keep an eye on where the speedometer is located. And below that will show the 110 when we're ready. Or 100 rather, sorry. There's the 100. We're going to be moving into a 140. I may not be at 100 by the time I pass the 140, so I may be able to just go ahead and continue accelerating. We shall see. Yeah, I'm not going to be past it in time, so we're going to just keep the throttle on, and we're going to keep going. As we are now under the effect of the 140 km/h speed restriction, which for us is not really much of a restriction. So barring any weird signal speed limits coming up, we should be good to proceed at this point into, almost panicked, I misread the number. We should be good at this point to proceed into Huglfing. Our arrival time is in about 4 minutes and about 6.5 kilometers or so. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this is where polling station is located, somewhere along here. It is located a little less than 5 kilometers before Huglfing, so we should be seeing the site of it shortly, but we're not going to be seeing it on the HUD this time. It is not marked on the HUD for us. So you're going to see a track splitting apart down here in the distance in front of us. You saw that signal, that precedes polling station. And there's the track splitting right there. So again, the old station building is over here. And a private residence, I believe. And then the tracks will narrow back down. And it's like we didn't miss anything. So we shall now continue towards Huglfing. You can see a signal coming up 2.5 kilometers away from us, around the range of our map there, as close to 3 kilometers, not quite 3 kilometers. And there's the platform for Huglfing coming up. So that's the signal that protects Huglfing Station. Any fancy speed restrictions coming up? I don't see any lights, so it looks like it might be okay. But then we do have a curve to go around here, which may be related to that. I'm surprised we're able to take the curve at this speed, to be honest with you. This does not feel the most safe curve to take. We have some kind of indicator coming up, so we're going to keep an eye on that and see if there's a speed restriction. Nope, we're good. Now, because it is winter, I'm going to start slowing down now a little bit. We're not going to go under 100 kilometers an hour for right now, but we do need to get our speed down a little bit so we can start to stop for the station appropriately. In fact, I take that back. I think we do need to slow down right now, so I'm going to increase that brake application a little bit. I'm going to ease it off now because I think we are coming in at a good speed now to be okay. And at this point, we're going to be early for our stop. So this time we're early. We went from being almost late to being super early, and I love that. So we have time to pick our stopping spot here, which I absolutely like. And that's why I'm not doing too much to finagle our speed right now, because we can pick where we want to stop. So I'm going to go ahead and drop our speed a little bit more. I'm going to stop in front of the building here, I think. Because I believe that's about the right spot to stop. With an umbrella there, a clock. Arrival at Huglfing. Departing Huglfing, our next stop is Uffing am Staffelsee, and that is about 7 kilometers away from us, just ticked under 7 kilometers right now. So we are going to be going to a speed limit of 140 kilometers per hour, but we're not going to be able to maintain that. We're not even going to get it to 120, I don't think, before we have to slow down. This is the point at which we're going to start slowing down. We're going to make it to the 100 in time for the signal. I'm going to let it just happen naturally at this point. So we are down in time for the signal. Now I may be looking at the itinerary or at the information at the bottom and saying, my gosh, you're destined to arrive early. Yeah, I'm a little worried about that too. I have a feeling there's a speed restriction coming up. We'll find out for sure when we get up here. When your sixth sense is tingling, there's a reason it's tingling. And I'm going to see what that is right in a little bit here. But we're going to have to get closer to the station to see that. So we're going to get close to our 100 kilometer per hour speed limit. I'm not going to break the... I'm going to stay in the 99 range. I don't want to break into 100 because it gives me a little bit of leeway, especially because there's no decimals at 100. And you get the 100.0, which I'll show you, but then it goes away into 100. So... But we're going to be coming up into a 140 speed allowance anyway. And notice I call it a speed allowance now. So I'm kind of hovering right around the 100 at this point because I know we're going to hit that very shortly. And there we go. We can now speed up. We're going to see how well this goes here. Proceeding into 120 kilometers per hour at this point. We are on a 1 in 47 uphill gradient. We're 2.5 kilometers from a signal. Now, like I said, I'm concerned based on our ETA that we are going to have something happening at this signal before the station. So we're probably going to be on that signal in about a minute or so. We need to be ready to respond to a possible change in speed limit. And again, we have to remember they're not always showing up on the PZB system, which is a little annoying, and I don't know why that is. They should be. I don't believe the driver vigilance system takes them into account, so we're going to just try to keep an eye out for what we can see here at this point. Here's a countdown to it. We're going to start slowing down now anyway a little bit. We have a flashing green. We have to go down to 60. So we're going to be cutting it right down in our hurry by the looks of it. So I've got a heavy brake application on at this time, trying to bring the speed down in time. I think I'm going at a pace where I will be able to get down to 60 in time without any penalty, which is definitely what I want to do. I've eased off the brake restriction just slightly because I think I'm going to be down in time. And indeed, I am down in time. Make sure we don't stay above 60, and there we go. So we did make it down to 60 kilometers per hour in time. There's a 110 speed board right after the station. Thanks, Signal. Thanks a lot. Or right before the station, rather. So that's one thing you learn to do on this route. You learn to pay attention to the signals coming up on the stations because you don't know if you're going to have to come down to a lower speed limit. Usually it is 60, but a signal could very well tell you, hey, I'm going to make you go 40, and you have to do what I say. In which case, oh boy, you're going to have a good time slowing down for that one. So we're now at Uffing am Staffelsee. We're going to go ahead and park our train right here next to these people. Arrival at Uffing am Staffelsee. Pulling away from Uffing am Staffelsee, our next stop is Murnau. We are on our way to a 110 mile per hour speed limit. We have 5 kilometers to go to our destination, 110 kilometer per hour speed limit, my mistake. Now, if you're looking at the arrival time and saying you're going to arrive way too early, it looks like you might be right, as we see some kind of vehicle parked over there on the left side. So we're going to see if that means I have another speed restriction here. We've had a lot of speed restrictions so far imposed by signals, and I have a feeling we're going to have a couple more before this scenario is out. At least 2 more, maybe 3, I'm guessing. There is a backhoe working late at the night. That doesn't make sense. It's only, well, I guess it's only 5 in the afternoon. They're finishing their day. So let's watch and see if this signal is going to surprise us. There's Murnau over there, so that's where we're trying to get to. I've not seen any indications yet, so I'm trying to maintain 110 kilometers per hour until we get a confirmation. We're going to get one in about 2 steps here. 1 step, here's the green signal. I don't see one. So it looks like we're going to be able to proceed as normal here, which is fine by me. I don't trust this. We're going to be early. I'm bringing the speed down. I don't trust this. I just don't trust this right now. There's the blinking green, so yep, I was right not to trust it. We have an 80 actually as our upcoming speed limit. So the 80 is a signal imposed limit after the station. I slowed down before the station because I just did not trust the signals to not let me get away without going 60. I did not trust them. It turns out this time around I was okay to continue. So the signals were right this time, again, as they usually are. But I was early anyway, so I didn't care. I'm going to just come in and slide in the way I normally would. I have time to make the stop, so I'm kind of easing the brakes on and off here. But I am now doing a heavy brake application to bring the train down to a stop at this location here. You can see the flashing green ahead for our 80 km/h speed restriction. We have arrived at Murnau station. Right on time, look at that. Departing Murnau. That was a weird signal change there, but departing Murnau, we are on our way to our next stop, which is Eschenlohe. We are about 10 kilometers and change away from that. We're coming to what I recall to be a 1 in 38 downhill gradients. This is going to really test our ability to maintain our brakes on this hill and maintain this 80 speed limit. So, frankly, I'm a little upset that the speed limit has been lowered to 80 on us for this reason. It just inexplicably tests us for no reason. I found a good speed or brake power to hold at here. This is good information. 15%, so we're about in the range where we can maintain. I've moved it up to 17%, and that's going to let us stay at 78, 79 range, which is really good. So I moved over to 16. Yeah, we're kind of in 16, 17% brake for the zone here, which is pretty good. Are we going to have a signal imposed speed limit again? Let's find out. The other lane has something coming up too. We do not. We're finally going to be freed from this coming up. There's a 120 km/h speedboard coming. And given this is a really long stretch, the fact that I've not been able to go fast is kind of bothering me. So the downhill has ended. I had to increase the throttle to get our speed back. There's a car over there on the right again. And we can now juice it. I would like to get a picture going across that bridge, but unfortunately I didn't do it during the one service that came in this area. I think we had one. Actually, no, I think both services here have been nighttime, so I didn't really get a chance to show you that bridge. I'll have to do that on a future mission if we end up coming back in this area. I'm not sure if the last scenario does or not. No change in speed by that signal. That's good information. But we do have, nonetheless, an 80 coming up. We have to abide by that 80. So I am going to prepare to brake for that. I believe this was the B2 I mentioned from the other scenario going in the other direction. Now I think about it, we did have a daytime scenario because I remember seeing that bridge better in the other direction. I actually am planning for the bridge because I didn't realize what was coming. So we're going to have a 110 right after this. Not sure why this is an 80 in this area. I'm going to assume it's just a dangerous curve to take at 110. That's why they lower you. I believe this was a closed station, if I remember correctly. Eschendorf. Eschendorf was the station there, I think. Or no, was that I feel like we crossed Olstadt somewhere because we should have seen Olstadt by now. So I guess we didn't stop there on this journey. I'm a little confused where I am right now. I shouldn't be slowing down like that though, so we're going to speed back up. We are still aiming to be on time, so it should be fine. As long as you don't have another signal imposed speed limit here to slow us down. That could make this a little challenging. We'll keep an eye out. Here comes the indication if there's anything. I'm not adjusting speed yet. I see a flashing green. I'm maybe ready to slow down. 60. Once again, the PZB did not do anything here. I feel like it should be warning us about these. Again, if this is normal and it should not be warning us about those, then please let me know. But I feel that it is supposed to warn us about this. And this scenario is very good proof. You cannot just drive by the HUD. How many signal imposed speed limits was that we faced here? That we had to slow down for. Man does not drive by HUD alone. Speed limit sign just vanished after the station. Don't know what that sign was. We'll see when we get there. We're going to go by Eschenlohe here. We're going to make a stop. Going to increase the stopping distance because now that we're at 110 speed limit again, fantastic. I'm kind of slowing down a little casually, so I'm going to increase that brake application finish and get the doors open. Arrival at Eschenlohe, platform 2. So the 110 speed restriction we have leaving Eschenlohe has immediately dropped to a 60 based on the sign, the signal saying that we have to go 60. And that's a permanent 60. That's not a temporary one. That's a permanent 60. There's a 100 coming up there. You can see we are definitely in the dead of darkness now, the dead of night. As it is 5 p.m. on a clear winter's German winter's evening, however you want to phrase that. That's like asking a German to tell you the date. It says 11 December. No, it's December 11th. And I'm joking. Everyone has their own way of doing things around the world. Going 60 here is painfully slow. I am in pain right now. It's at the speed we're going. Get out of this 60, please. Open her up. Go 100. Let's go. We are on a single track now, so you better hope that someone isn't disobeying their signal over there, because that won't be good for us. Ooh, I actually did cross into 101 again. I was trying to get the brakes down. I figured I was on time, and it turns out I was. Another close call. You don't want to make them that close. Do not make them that close, whatever you do. So Oberau is our next stop, if I haven't already said that, and I feel like I haven't, so now you know. And we're a little less than 4 kilometers away from there now, so we're supposed to arrive in 3 minutes. We're going to arrive in 2 minutes. Which tells me, given there's a 1.5 minute difference between our ETA and the arrival time, I think we're going to have another signal imposed speed limit. I just know it. I just know it. This is a scenario where they test us with that. And I thought this was going to be easy. Well, it is easy. Follow the speed limits. Easy. As we cross mile mark or kilometer marker 90, which I don't think we saw there because of the other sign. There's the 90. Nope, no speed limit. I will accept that. But it's 60 after the station, so they don't really need to impose a speed limit because everyone stops here anyway. In general. Single track, you have to make sure there's no trains coming from the other direction, so typically you're going to stop here anyway. I saw a warning for a 60 coming up there, but that's for the 60 that's on the signal coming up. So I don't really have anything to be concerned about right now. I saw that and I panicked for a second. But we're good. We're good for the time being. Kilometer marker 91.4 just passed on the right. Yeah, so the 60 has nothing to do with us, so we have to stop here anyway. But it will apply after the station. I thought I was going to do a short toot there. Oops. Now let's stop at this building. Why not? A little further. We have the time. Let's go a little further. There we go. That should be a good picture, right? Arrival at Oberau, platform 1. Departing Oberau. Our speed limit is going to be 60 kilometers per hour as we cross that signal. There is a 100 kilometer per hour speed limit eventually coming up. I'm going to cut my speed for now. And now that that's done, our next stop is Farchant, which is 3.5 kilometers away from us. I just had something in my eye there, so I wasn't really doing a good job keeping an eye on my speed. I was just hoping I wasn't speeding there, so thankfully I didn't. Gave myself a little buffer. Always never hurts to give yourself a buffer. You could get something in your eye and you can't really Watch it properly. There you go. Now you know. We can now go 100 kilometers per hour. I did not jump up to that right away. An error on my part. You can see Farchant already coming up there. We are nearly at the end of our route as well, as I'm already up to 100. So we are nearly up to the end of our route, which is nice. Our arrival time is going to be a little closer to the mark for this one, so this may not be a perfect one. Which means we better not have a signal limit. No, it doesn't look like we do. I'm just letting the speed ease off gently. I'm going to go ahead and do a proper brake application in a moment. At this point, I'm going to try to bring the train in for a stop based on where we are right now. Just have to be careful with how I apply the brakes. Technically, we're now late if you look at the second, so we're going to hope that that's not actually the case. But just in case it is, I'm going to go ahead and bring the train to a stop as quickly as I can. And they were waiting for us up there. Sorry, we're stopping back here. Arrival at Farchant. Coming away from Farchant, our speed limit leaving the station is 100 kilometers per hour. We're only about 5 kilometers from our final destination of Garmisch Partenkirchen. We are coming close to our 100 kilometer per hour speed restriction, so we're going to just go ahead and cut the throttle there. And we're going to prepare for a couple of brake applications as we get into Garmisch Partenkirchen, as we're going to have to probably drop to a 50 and eventually to a 40, maybe even slower as we pull into the station. Our arrival time is in 2.5 minutes. We're scheduled to arrive half a minute earlier. Getting our speed back under 100 so we don't actually go over. And Garmisch Partenkirchen is not just the end of our journey, as I believe you have figured out by now. It is indeed also the terminus of our route. We're coming in somewhere along here. There we are, we're the green train. Why are we green? I've never seen green before. So it looks like the track does continue beyond for the sake of continuity, but I'm sure there's going to be a buffer showing up. We probably don't go more than 2 kilometers away down the track. We're getting a flashing green. Prepare to go 40. Oh boy. We have a kilometer to get down to 40. There's the buffer. That's the end of the network for us. So the map zoomed in a little bit more so we don't necessarily see the buffer at this time. At our slower speed here. I might have slowed down a little too quickly, which is a little worrying. I'm going to take what speed I can for a moment. Let's hope I make the stop appropriately. The 100 after the station, who cares? We're never going to be there. So we're going to stop as soon as we are able to on a platform. This works. We may be a little bit late here. Hopefully that's not the case. We're going to find out. But in any case, this is the end of the scenario. Door's going to be open. Arrival at Garmisch Partenkirchen. I should have probably gone up to the platform up there, the building, but we didn't have time. So let's look at the train as we leave, as we finish. So there we go, our second darkness scenario. Not as late as the other one, but still pretty dark. Let's go ahead and hide that. So still pretty dark. And we're going to see how we did in just a moment. I'm keeping a little bit of suspense on that. Nicely done. The weather conditions were tough, but you pulled through. So let's see how the scenario scored us on that final stop. I have a feeling the signal and post speed limit will help with us in terms of our timing, but we're going to find out. You little jerk. You little jerk. 6 seconds late. Well, I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish that one up. Well, something I don't necessarily tell you because it's a recording thing, I keep a save, especially towards the end of a scenario in case something goes wrong. That way I can splice it together. I'm not going to do any splicing on this one. You're going to see this ending exactly as you see it. Exactly as you saw me play it. So you're going to see me miss those 6 points. But I'm going to come back on that save and I'm going to get those 6 points. I slowed down way too early for that 40 and that's what cost me. So if you slow down, if you give a little more time before slowing down, you're going to be on time. You might even get to the building. But now I know that you have to literally make that last stop on time. You can actually be in the next minute, but you can still be late sometime in that minute. So there you go. 6 points. Not that the points matter. The points don't matter. They're like the TV guide to a TV nowadays. It doesn't matter. In any case, that's the end of that scenario. We're going to go ahead and move to our final career scenario. And I'm maintaining the look of the classic single route format here. We are looking at the final run, which is Early City Run. Early City Run. 60-minute scenario. Sunrise approaching. So, oh boy, it's dark again. Passenger service to Munich. So, this is the only scenario we actually come in entering Munich. So, just like we just did the scenario entering Garmisch Partenkirchen, we're finally going to have our scenario entering Murnau, I think it's pronounced Munich, HBF or something like that, but Munich HBF. We're going to finally enter there and have a proper scenario ending there. So we're finally going to get to have that next time, and it's our 2-star scenario, one of the 2-star scenarios, so it should be an easy finish. Let's go ahead and get to that, shall we? I'll see you next time for that. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time for more Let's Play Train Simulator. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.